The good folks at Comics for Fun and Profit have been doing 2 episodes a week for quite some time now, and it's all thanks to, first of all, Jason, and second of all, our patrons who allow us to add the space on our server, broadcast more, store more, share more with you, the listeners. I'm envious of those of you who have unlimited storage and media server capabilities. We pay for ours here at the C4FAP. It ain't cheap. We thank you so much for those of you who go to patreon.com/comicsfunprofit and contribute at any level to say thanks, to say, I want to be a part of your Slack channel conversations. I want to get exclusives. I want to get early access. I want to get ad-free access. I want to get swag. I want to get some free stuff. Whatever your reasoning is, we appreciate it at any level because it does make a difference. So from the bottom of Kyle and I and Jason's heart, thank you for contributing.
Aloha! This is Jason from Hawaii. Welcome to a special edition of the Comics for Fun and Profit podcast. In this episode, I will be interviewing writer and artist Sweeney Boo. She's part of the new creative team that will be taking over the Harley Quinn series starting in March of 2023. Sweeney will be the artist and Teenie Howard is the writer, and they will start their run on issue number 28. I will be asking her some, and also I will be asking her some questions on a little bit questions about that run, and also I'm going to talk to her about the podcast that she does with Sue Lee called Spill Your Guts. So again, Sue and Sweeney, they both co-host that podcast. It's a great podcast. Sweeney, I'm sorry, I only listened to one episode. I love it. I'm a little backed up on my podcast. I know this is an audio thing. I know this is an audio thing, but you can see background, so don't look at my comic books back there, okay?
Yeah. You have a lot on your plate. I get it.
Yeah. Okay. So, Sweeney, welcome to Comics for Fun and Profit podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me. This is very exciting.
No, thank you very much. And I'm gonna let listeners know that Sweeney also has Loki, her cat. So sometimes once in a while you may hear me say hello, Loki, or we just say so, or even Loki may say something. Who knows?
Yeah, she might say something. She can be vocal if she wants.
Before I start getting into everything, if you don't mind me asking, how old is Loki?
She turned 10, actually.
Wow.
She's the oldest cat I've ever had. I know 10 is not very old, but it's like a milestone for me, kind of.
Oh, yes, that's nice. I'm sorry, guys. Right now, Loki's just like walking back and forth. It's he, right? So
It's
right?
a she, actually, yeah.
Oh, she. Okay, so
Yeah.
she was like a little while ago was like wagging her tail literally in front of Sweeney's face. It was like.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but every time I do interviews, she has to be in front of the camera. She's got to be there and be loud and walk everywhere.
I think Teeny probably trained her. Go, okay, Loki, make sure Sweeney does not spoil anything.
No spoilers. She's here
Yeah.
to like keep me yeah.
All right. So all right, sorry. So for listeners, I'm just gonna go over a brief history of Sweeney's work. And Sweeney, please feel free to jump in or correct me, or if you want to talk a little bit more about some of your work, that's fine too. Just go ahead.
No problem.
Or if you want to add anything too, please feel free. So I know you did an original graphic novel that you were the writer and artist. It was from I think the publisher Harper Alley, correct me if I'm wrong. Over
Right.
My Dead Body. Was that your first work?
It wasn't my first work, but it was the first time I was doing everything on my own.
Oh, okay.
So it just came out in August. And so it's the first time that I was doing the script, the colors, and pretty much everything. It was a lot, but it was
All
great.
right. And then I know for Boom Studios, you did Eat and Love Yourself. When did that one come out?
This one came out in 2020,
Mm-hmm.
just at the beginning of the pandemic.
Okay, all right. And then I know you did some work for Marvel Rising Captain Marvel.
Hmm.
I know you did a short story in Deadbeats. Now, Deadbeats is a musical horror anthology. And it was you were the artist on the story called Reverse Cards, if I remember correctly.
Exactly. Written by
Okay,
Nadia Shamas. Yeah.
thank you. And then, listeners, if you are interested in, Deadbeats is great. I have it. It's from a Wave Blue World Publishing. So that if you guys get a chance, check that out. I know you did some work recently for DC Comics. You did some artwork on the Wonder Girl 2022 annual, and then and I just found out recently that you're doing a variant cover that's going to come out on December 20th of this year, Batman versus Robin #4, if I got that correct.
Yes, yes, you did.
Okay, thank you. Now I'm going to ask. I'm going to ask. You want to add anything? Any other works that you want listeners to check out?
Yeah, I did a bunch of the backstories on the Joker for Punchline, and it's all
Uh,
collected in the recent book that came out. I did like maybe like four.
mhm.
So yeah.
Okay. And then I'm gonna say now, listeners, I'm gonna yeah, because I believe, yeah, I think yes, the trade is out, I believe already. I think it
Hmm.
is, yeah. Okay. Now, before we get into the interview, I want to give a big shout out to Sue Lee. Sue is one of Sweeney's friends, and Sue is also a friend of the show. I did get some of my information from the YouTube podcast. Hopefully I pronounced the library's name correctly. Champlain Public Library. And the title of that podcast is Free Comic Book Day Live Q&A with Sweeney Boo. So if you guys get a chance, please check out that other interview as well. Now, Sweeney, where can listeners follow you on social media?
I'm pretty much everywhere at Sweeney Boo. On Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. My website is at the same name, and
Mhm.
I'm sometimes on TikTok.
Oh, okay. All right. Is Loki on TikTok as well?
No, my other cat is actually. I have a Sphinx cat, and I usually I used to a couple of years ago like sew her outfits, and I made like videos of her on TikTok.
Oh, that's so
Yeah.
cool. And I'm sorry, I may have missed it. What was your cat's other name? I'm sorry.
Oh, I actually didn't mention it. Her name is Winifred.
Ah, okay.
Little Winnie.
Ah, that's cute. Okay. I'm sorry. Well, let's continue on. No, we're just going to be talking about cats all day,
I could do it all. I could keep going.
And right now Loki looks really relaxed and comfortable.
Oh yeah, she's purring away.
Okay. All right. Now I'm going to ask, while you were growing up, like what comics made the most impression on you? Like, what did you start reading when you were young? Like,
So, I was reading a lot of like Franco-Belgian like comic books because I grew up in France,
mm-hmm,
and which was published in mini magazines at the time,
mm-hmm,
was really big for me.
yes,
It was our equivalent of having like a monthly comic because it wasn't really a thing in Europe.
mm-hmm,
So that was probably one of my biggest inspiration growing up, until I discovered, Scott Pilgrim and then more graphic novels. And then when I was 15, around then, my boyfriend at the time like showed me like Spider-Man and Iron Man and
mm-hmm.
all of that. So it just like expanded my horizons.
Oh, that's pretty cool. That's really nice. Now, um, because not and now correct me if I'm because like you mentioned that you're raised in France,
Mhm.
and um and you're gonna have to correct me on this because I know their comic shops over there are a little different than
Yeah.
in America. Is that correct? Yeah.
Hmm.
So did you like when you discovered Iron Man and Spider-Man, did you have like a regular shop that you go to over there at that time?
So I feel like comic book shops used to be like maybe I don't know how it was at the time, but maybe it used to be in bigger cities.
Mm-hmm.
Where I grew up, the only way I could really access them was when in like equivalent of, Walmart or stuff like that when we had
Oh,
like collected translated books.
oh, okay.
But later on in my late teens, early 20s, I moved to a city, and this is the first time ever that I had a comic book store, which
Oh,
was called Pulp's Bordeaux because it was in Bordeaux.
mm-hmm.
And it's still there, and they did like receive monthly comics, and it was like in English and all of that. So I had a bigger and just access to like monthlies and stuff like that.
Oh, that's pretty cool. All right. Now, I'm gonna ask, and may I ask you, like, what inspired you to be an artist?
Um, I feel like drawing has just always been easier way for me to express myself.
Mm-hmm.
I touched upon other type of art, I really wanted to be a fashion designer for a short amount of time.
Oh, nice. Mm-hmm.
Um, because I just love clothes, but
Mm-hmm.
I ended up just bringing that into drawing characters and just putting stories with characters. It was just kind of always there, and
Mm-hmm.
I just naturally just like shifted to tourist comics, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. And then, and then, um, because because like, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, because if I remember correctly, I think you went to, uh, you learned graphic design in high school, and it was a little
Yeah.
bit of self-taught. Was that correct?
Yeah, because the school that I went to was like it's like a professional high school. So it
Mm-hmm.
was graphic design, but we did have like a lot of like kind of like art classes. So
Yes.
I did learn some like notions of using softwares and color technique and stuff. But I didn't go to school beyond high school. After that, I just like learned everything else on my own.
No, but I'm going to say that, but that's pretty good that uh, that high school gave you that pathway to um that area to focus. Gave you some classes, at least some maybe basics, to do, and then you just took off from there. But
Oh no,
that's
exactly. I feel very lucky that way because like even though, it was a professional high school, so it was definitely like a bit expensive. It wasn't public high school.
yeah,
But it was not like, as expensive that like going into I guess in the US or whatever, equivalent to like grad school or I don't know, college
yes.
would have been. So yeah, I definitely feel lucky that way.
Okay, yeah. Um, and then I'm going to ask you, um, like, who are some of the artists that that influenced you, you know?
Yeah. Um, well, which was created by Alessandro Barbucci and Barbara Canepa. So he's the artist and she was the colorist.
Hmm.
And they did like it belonged to Disney. So at some point, there was like an entire team actually just drawing those comics.
Hmm.
But the two of them did keep going and do their own things and created Skydol and all other stuff like that, and they have this like very Disney looking art that is very
Yes.
colorful, but they usually treat like very heavy subject. And for
Hmm.
me, it was like the perfect combination. And I was like, this is exactly what I want to do. So yeah, growing up, I was like, this is what I want to draw.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay. And then because and if you don't mind me saying, because I've seen some of your artwork,
Mhm.
and please feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but it has a very nice animated vibe style to it.
Oh, that's very kind of you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I guess I was definitely like inspired by animated movies for a while too. I feel like I
Hmm.
draw inspiration from a lot of things really, but it's
Hmm.
very kind. I like that.
No, but thank you. No, but yeah. So I just wanted to, yeah. That's the just the vibe I got from it, and like I said, it's really nice. It really is. All right, so let's jump into the Harley Quinn, and for listeners, again, as I mentioned, this it's the they're that Sweeney and Teeny's run, they're going to start on issue 20. That's going to come out on March of 2023 next year. Um, let's see. So we can't talk too much about it because before we started the show, Sweeney said you're basically working on the first issue of your run.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
exactly. It's due this month, so I'm literally like working on it.
okay. So the thing is, like, we're not going to go into too much spoilers, but I just wanted to talk to her just to start getting the word out that there's a new creative team on Harley Quinn. If there is a spoiler, Loki will literally go right in front of Sweeney and block Sweeney from, so.
She's here to check.
All right. So I'm going to ask you, how did you get this awesome gig?
I want to say luck, but also so I've been doing like a bunch of like smaller stories and like covers here and there for DC for like about 2 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And Ariana Torturo, who's the editor on the Harley Quinn, I did a bunch of cover for her, and out of the blue, she was like, "Hey, do you want to draw Harley Quinn?" And there's no way for me to say no to that. So yeah, it kind of just happened.
Oh, that is so nice. That is really nice. Um, I'm gonna, I'm just, do you remember the first time you ever saw the Harley Quinn character?
Yeah, it was in Batman the Animated Series.
Mm-hmm.
And, she's the classic, and I always thought that she was the coolest. And even if, she's like this like crazy character, and she was very much like attached to the Joker for a while, but I love that she is like her own person, and there's like so much depth to her character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow, that is so cool. I'm gonna ask you an off the cuff question, and what yeah, actually, I'll ask it now. Is that when you're at conventions, or if someone asks you to do a commission, do some of your fans ask you to do Harley Quinn sketches? Do they do that?
Actually, I feel like it depends of like conventions.
Mhm.
I'm expecting to probably get a lot more in the future,
Oh
which will
yeah,
be fun.
yes.
But I feel like, yeah, depending on the cons, people have like their own preferences. But Harley Quinn is one that is like she's a classic, and the request like definitely comes up quite often.
Oh, okay, all right. No, thank you. Let's see. Now, I'm just asking. Um, do you can you tease anything about the first story arc? Can you like mention, like, is she on a caper? Is she on, without any spoilers? If you can, and then that's
Um,
fine. Yeah.
Without any spoilers, I can say that like it's really, really fun. I
Mm-hmm.
think it's going to be really colorful and really crazy. And yeah, that's pretty much it so far. That's all I can
Okay.
say.
All right. Um, Now we know Harley Quinn, like you mentioned, Harley Quinn had a relationship with Joker. Now she broke away from him. Harley Quinn is also one of Batman's villains. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I kind of dip my toe into the Harley Quinn uh, comics every so often, but I think Poison Ivy is her girlfriend. Correct
Yeah,
me if I'm
yeah,
wrong.
I
Okay,
think.
so I'm gonna ask, um, how fun would it be if you get a script saying, okay, you're going to draw Batman in this issue, or Poison Ivy? Is that going to be fun and great for you to do?
Oh my gosh, yeah. It's every time that I see a character pop up or like in the script, it's always like super exciting. I'm like, oh, you have like an equivalent of like being scared and being very excited, being like, I have
Yes,
to do this character's justice, but
yes.
also it's like a bucket list. Like I'm a kid who gets to draw just like amazing characters, and that's pretty cool.
Wow, nice. Um, I'm going to ask you an off the cuff question because I remember you mentioned one of the comic book series that you grew up with Witch.
Mhm.
I'm just asking, are you toying around with the idea, maybe dropping little Easter eggs in the drawings when you draw the Harley Quinn to put them like in the something in the background to make reference to that comic book that you grew up with?
That would be a really fun and good idea. I feel like I usually when I do Easter eggs, it's more of like everyday life kind of thing, like having my cat somewhere or like just like stuff like that that people will never get. But
Mhm.
it's really smart. I should try to do stuff like that
All right,
more
then I'm going
often.
to ask you this off the cuff question. So does your cat Loki, does she make an appearance in the first issue of the new Harley Quinn run?
Not yet, but she does make an appearance on an upcoming cover that I have coming out that is not Harley Quinn, but it's a DC cover.
Okay.
I'm pretty excited about that.
Um, Off the cuff question. So if Catwoman makes an appearance in your run of Harley Quinn, are you gonna draw your cats in the background or up
Oh,
front?
yes, big time. Any opportunity I get.
Mhm. And then are you gonna ask Teeny, okay, Teeny, can you add that Selena say this is this is my pet cat Loki, this is my pet cat, my other one.
Adding just everyone's pet, asking her if she has pets, if she wants me to add as well. Just like our pets just end up being part of the DC universe.
All right. Um, so my last question regarding the Harley Quinn, about Harley Quinn is actually it's more, please feel you already gave a shout out to your editor. Um, we know Teeny is the writer on the series. Do you want to give shout outs to other members of the creative team that's helping you with basically this first issue?
Yeah, so I don't know yet who is going to be lettering.
Hmm.
But Jessica Barbe, I really hope I'm not butchering her name. She's the associate editor, and she's also being like absolutely great. So yeah, I want to mention her as well.
Okay. All right. Now I'm going to shift from Harley Quinn to the podcast that you co-host, Spill Your Guts podcast. I've listened to one episode. I loved it. I think I listened to the episode where you and Sue were talking about how to prepare for conventions, like
Oh,
how.
great.
Yeah, that was very informative. What I loved is that you guys, from the creator's point of view, how you guys try to prepare for conventions, like how
Mm-hmm.
many prints you don't want to make sure you get too much, and I that was a great. That was very good. Yeah,
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
yeah. Okay, so how did you and Sue? How did the podcast get started?
It was like last summer. I was like, I took a really deep dive in listening to a lot of podcasts,
Hmm.
and I got an itch of what if, I was to do one, it would be cool, but then what do I want to talk about, or
Yeah.
what can I bring to the table? And I brought it up to Sue, and Sue was like, I was actually thinking about it too. And we were like, well, do you want to do something together? And we kind of were just, well, we love talking about, mental health and
Yes.
struggles and stuff like that. And also we're comic artists, and that's pretty much who we are. And so yeah, we wanted to like put these two things together and try to make something out of it.
Hmm. All right. And then just for actually um I'm I'm gonna ask you, like, how often do you guys have new episodes come out? When do they come out?
Uh, so every 2 weeks on
Hmm.
Mondays,
Okay.
so twice
All
a
right.
month.
All right. And then how much fun do you guys have recording the episodes.
It is really, really fun. It's usually, you probably feel like the same. It's usually a bit stressful before because you never know how it's gonna go or whatever. Sometimes
Yes.
we have guests. And usually it's always like never like you expected, but in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
Good, there's like good topics and usually a good flow of conversation and stuff like that. So it's been a really great experience.
Yes. And listeners, again, like I said, even though I only listened to one episode, I've downloaded already a couple other episodes. I'm still a little bit behind on stuff. But yeah, but like I said, I love it. It's great. And um yeah, it's just that you guys have fun. It's just two friends talking about um yeah, it's just basically two friends just talking. Like you said, you and Sue are artists. You guys talk about what's it like, your struggles and so forth. But
Mm-hmm.
it's a great podcast. I love it.
I
Yeah.
really appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, we just want to maybe, for other artists who are other creators that are out there and like feel lonely when they work,
No, but
like
yeah, but
feeling lonely with us, I guess.
no, but that's a very good point too, because it's yeah, I didn't realize it, but that's a very good point because it's like if there's a new artist starting up, this is something they can check out too. And they go, oh
Yeah,
yeah, I
hopefully.
understand. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. So, Sweeney, I'm slowly wrapping things up. Um, do you have any upcoming projects that you want to that if you can talk about? Are there any projects you want to promote? Anything from variant covers that are coming out, or any short stories that you've written or drawn?
Um, I have a couple covers coming out, but I can't remember the dates.
Oh, that's
But I do have a couple like new DC covers coming out. But also I did a one shot story for What's the Furthest Place from Here, which is an image series.
yes.
Um, with for issue 9, I believe.
Okay.
It's Tyler Boss and Matt Rosenberg, and I'm pretty sure it's coming out either December or November. I'm terrible at dates, but it's coming. It's coming out soon,
Oh,
and I had fun with it.
all right. No, thank you very much. Um, let's see. What is the most fun or exciting thing that you love working in comics?
That I get to like live a childhood dream and just like draw like characters that I used to love as a kid
Mm-hmm.
while being in my pajamas and like in my office
Mm-hmm.
and it feels just like kind of crazy. Yeah, I just really love my job.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's great. Thank you very much. Now, um, I'm slowly wrapping things up. So, um, do you have either a favorite convention moment or moments, whether as a fan or as a creator?
um this year something very special happened at Fan Expo Toronto. Someone came cosplaying my character from Even Love Yourself, which is like my very first graphic novel. And it was so special because it's something that I could have never imagined. And yeah, it's probably going to be one of my favorite moments for a long time.
That is so nice. That is so cool. Just thank you very much. Thank you for sharing that. That sounds so cool. Um, let's see. Um, your do you know what your next convention or store signing appearance that's going to be like in December or January?
Yeah, actually, Sue Lee and I are going to be at San Francisco Fan Expo at the end of this month during
Okay.
Thanksgiving weekend. So November 25th to
Hmm.
27th.
Hmm.
And maybe I'm hoping I'll be in Fan Expo New Orleans in January.
Wow. Wow. Okay. All right. And then let's see, a couple more questions. Have you and your family ever been to Hawaii?
No, but it's a dream of mine. I've been talking about it instantly to my boyfriend for like years. So one day I really hope so.
Okay. All right. Now I'm gonna and then final question. Any closing words to our listeners?
Thank you for listening, and I hope you check out Harley Quinn because I think it will be great.
No. All right. So Sweeney, mahalo. Thank you in Hawaiian. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to interview you. I wish you and the creative team all the success with the Harley Quinn series. And again, listeners, Feeny and Sweeney's, they are the new creative team that will start with issue 28 that comes out in March of 2023. I also want to thank Sue Lee again. Sue, thank you very much. If you are a new comic book reader or a lifelong comic book reader, please check out Harley Quinn number 28. Again, it comes out in March of next year. I want to thank Drew, the host of Comics for Fun and Profit, for putting this episode together. Drew, thank you very much for all your hard work behind the scenes. And if you are a new listener, please check out new episodes of Comics for Fun and Profit that comes out every Saturday. And I want to thank you, the listeners. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for listening to this episode. Until next time, guys. Aloha.
Aloha.
Our LCS is Cowabunga Comics out of Oconomowoc, Wisconsin, and their mail order company, Deep Discount Comics. And we went there, and we were actually invoice number 00001. We were the very first their very first customer, which was kind of cool. They've been nothing short of fantastic, customer service wise. Discounts, they were very close, if not the same or better than DCBS on a lot of things. Over and above, customer service wise, always taking care of us, going the extra mile, so responsive, getting instantaneous responses back to questions about things, and to the point where knowing the stuff you like and anticipating your needs and having it suggested that you might want to add this to your order already before you even have to think about it. That's kind of cool. Really quality experience. So we love working with Cowabunga and Deep Discount, and that's why they're in our show notes every single episode, and have been for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of episodes. That we leave them there because we like them. They're cool, good people. That's why they're in there. By God, they'd tell you to, if you've got a local comic book shop that you love, stay with them, because everybody needs to support their local comic shops. But if you're looking, check them out. You can check them out in the show notes. There's plenty of ways to get a hold of them. Either get on their list, just so you can check and see what kind of FOC and pre-order stuff they have and the discounts, and they'll send it to you each month, get you on that email list. And you can check out their shop, because they have a great shop of exclusive Cowabunga variants. Amazing stuff. Yes, they've always been there for us, and we take them for granted. So there you go. Now you know.